I noticed whenever I was looking at my book stats on Amazon for Afterlife Simulation, someone has wrote a book. It's most likely somebody to deal with the drunken peasants, but they wrote a book called Keanisms, and it's basically a book that mocks the way I talk, my accent, and some of the phrases and words that I use. And apparently a lot of things that I've said in the last 20 years of doing YouTube have become memes, and that's fine. That's cool. I remember back in the day whenever I was an atheist, I was praised for the way I express myself and communicate. People referred to me as a genius and intelligent, and that I was really good at communicating with Christians and all this. At some point in time, obviously leaving atheism and then becoming a Christian, suddenly my voice just automatically started sucking, and I became a stupid person as opposed to a genius, like accused of originally by atheists. Everything about me that was good went to dog shit the moment that I stopped being a non-believer. Within seconds, actually. It was like some kind of weird witch's spell. Just automatically everything about me went to shit. Goodness gracious. I think they call that an apostate, when you were valuable to a group or a club or a community, but then you started disagreeing or having your own walk or different way of perceiving things, and then suddenly you're no good anymore. And the Muslims, they tend to behead apostates. Atheists, they just spend the rest of their life trying to destroy your very existence. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that. So, Keanisms. What is my thoughts on that? What is my opinion on somebody writing a book on it? Unfortunately, the book isn't going to do too well in Illinois, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and any states that are around Missouri. And the reason why, it's obvious that whoever is writing this stuff is living in a liberal type of city environment. Why? Because all the things that are mentioned in the book of Keanisms, I hate to put this out there, I would love to take credit for being the originator of all these phrases like the whole 9 yards or Zayo Ding Dong and all this kind of stuff. But the truth is that people in Missouri, they all, most of them, a majority of them, sound exactly like I do. One of the reasons why my accent is so unique in the way I talk is because I originally grew up throughout my baby to young child, toddler phase and all that, all the way up to young teenager. I lived in St. Louis. I was in the city. So that's why it sounds like some of the things I say are very city-like. And then I ended up moving out to the country, living with my grandmother after my mother got sick. And out in the country, people have a whole different way of living, a whole different way of existing. The whole posture and gestures and communication and accents are completely different. Like in the city, you would say something like, yeah, what is she on about? But in the country, people are talking and they'll say something like, yeah, I was watching the news today and I can't believe what was going on in the show. They had this whole situation with this lady who was, apparently she, killed her own kid and then cannibalized him, and it's just unbelievable. That's the way they talk out in the country. I think that I accidentally brought in a little bit of the city to it as well. It's hard, but that's the way they do. You'd be sitting down at a baseball game or something like that, or watching a baseball game on television, and you got your grandpa or a bunch of older people sitting around playing poker or bingo, and they're like, what's going on TV? Who's winning right now? That's that guy over there. He's got no talents at all. He's never going to be able to run the whole 9 yards. It's just not going to happen. I don't care what you say. So that's basically what I'm telling you, is that if you ever visit Missouri, Illinois, or any of the states around it, that's the way country people talk. You know, you ought to. Everybody's into Jeff Foxworthy. He's not really my type of comedian. I was always more of a George Carlin, philosophical. Used to kind of like Bill Burr till he turned into a little bitch. Used to, whenever I was a kid, I used to get a kick out of Vanderdice Clay, but as I've gotten older, his kind of jokes were just, I realized he was more of a shock jock, just say really disgusting things. He wasn't really funny, and he wasn't really telling jokes. He was just telling really offensive sexual interactions he allegedly had, and then people go, you know. But, yeah. Yeah, people get a real kick out of that. I notice when I'm watching videos, and I say clearly in my video, so I've been thinking about this, or, you know, what's going on, you know, where you pronounce it properly. But sometimes whenever a country boy is talking for a long time and they're not really scripted, I've never scripted my videos, ladies and gentlemen. I don't sit down and write down. I just literally hit record and then I talk. And in Missouri, when something happens or traumatic or an issue, the word that people use is situation. That's how they describe every event, every moment, or something that has any kind of weight behind it as a situation. And especially when a country person is nervous or they're having some kind of anxiety, or they don't think that what's going on within the moment is working out for them, they'll say situation. Yeah. It's like a nervous tick, I guess. You know, people do. When you think that people are treating you unfairly or doing you wrong and you feel uncomfortable communicating with somebody, that might be the word to use. People don't tend to, when they're in the conversation or making a video, you just try to express yourself and you don't really stop to think about exactly what word needs to be in the place of this. I think one of the mistakes I made as a YouTuber long ago was, and I regret it, is I just wanted to express my message. I just wanted to say what I had to say and get it out there before I forget or whatever, and I get on a roll, and then I don't pay attention to how the words come off. And when that happens and you kind of just let yourself float or riff or rant is what they call it, sometimes you find yourself using the city accent or the country accent, and for some reason that really picked up. But the point is, the Keanism book is not it's basically not an original. It's not something that Missourians would read and go, oh, yeah, that's Brett Keane. They would say, no, that's me. That's the way I talk. That's my culture. That's the way I behave and act. It would be like, for these atheists who like making memes about this, if you had an Asian person come over or you were to visit the city or Harlem or something or St. Louis, and you were to run into black people, they've got their own way of talking too. They call it jive talk. And if you were to make fun of them and make videos about it, St. Louisians wouldn't think that that's cool. They'd be like, well, that's the way we talk. What's the problem? As many of you know, I have spent a great deal of time off and on YouTube where I talked about dictators, atheist dictators who've killed millions of people. And sometimes when I'm making a video, I try to be funny, I try to be silly, even whenever the conversation is about something extreme or intense. And I remember doing a video a while back where I was listing off all these dictators, and I was deliberately wearing my wife's pink sunglasses at the time. I was sitting out on my deck. I put on her pink glasses, and she said, Brad, are you sure you want to record a video with my glasses on? It looks kind of silly. And I said, I don't care. I don't take myself that seriously. If it makes people laugh, then go for it. You know, that's the way I've always been. I've always been a kind of a charismatic, who cares, you know, kind of deal. So I did it. And the other reason I did that was because, honestly, I could have went back in the house and got my own sunglasses, but I was already out there. and the sunlight was hitting my eyes really bad and making it difficult to be able to concentrate. So I needed some sunglasses within the moment, and my wife had the pink ones. So I said, all right, I'll do it. So what I did was I made this video where I'm sitting on the deck smoking a cigarette. I realized also that I did not shave. There'd been quite a while where I just kind of let the gorilla Yeti hair grow, and I looked like a damn animal and stuff with the shades on, which looking back, I still find it funny. It cracks me up. So I'm listing off all these atheist dictators who had been responsible for the destruction of countless civilizations and the starvation of their people and executions, murder, and all this kind of stuff. And when I got to the point where I got past Mao and Stalin and Hitler and all that, I finally got to some of these Japanese, Chinese, and Asian type of dictators who seen themselves as godless, and I got to Zale, and I called him Zale Ding Dong. Sometimes I call him Zale Zink and all that, but the name to me, whenever I looked at it, I thought to myself, this is stupid. I remember watching where did I get that from, though? Did I just make up Ding Dong out of my head? No, I actually watched this movie that was a parody a long time ago, Kung Fu. It was about a white guy who grew up with Asians, and they taught him martial arts, and it was really silly. It was like watching Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen and all that, and it just, what was it, Fist of Fury or Kung Pao? That's what it was called, Kung Pao. You can see in the trailer that they use the same stuff like Zao Ding Dong and all this. So that wasn't actually mine. I didn't come up with that all by myself. That was one of the names of one of the characters in the story that Kung Pao had to fight. That was his name, Kung Pao. A lot of you may not know about Kung Pao because although it was a really funny movie and it's got a really, really strong underground fan base, the movie was never something that was going to be something you get a nominee award for. It was like a B-rate film, but it was hilarious. It was one of those movies that are so terrible that you love it afterwards because it's so damn silly. It's like an airplane movie where they act serious, but then these really weird events happen throughout it, or strange things. You know, like somebody gets their arm chopped off and there's this overabundance of blood shooting all over the place looking like Kool-Aid, and it just keeps on going, and the guy keeps fighting like nothing's happening. You know, so I don't know how to explain it. If you've never seen parody films like Scream or a Scary Movie or something like that, then you won't know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. That's one of my other problems I've had. I grew up in half of my life was into the new generation, what they call Generation Z, and then the younger part of my life, I grew up with old people, foster kids of all different diversities and languages and accents. So my jokes may fall hard on some people. The way I talk, the way I express myself, I get it. But the point is that the book on Keanisms is going to fall flat because a lot of what I say, a lot of the words that I use, like orn and stuff like that, that people make fun of or situation, is a country habit or trait. And I don't think that I've never in all of my life ever walked up to any of these country people and made fun of them for the way they talk. I understood what they were saying. I got it. And I didn't ever feel the need to mock. But I get it. If you see somebody you don't like and you want to try to embarrass them, then you will hold on to every little thread or thing that they've ever done and make mountains out of molehills out of it. I get it. So there you go. Keanisms are actually Missouri talk. That's what it should have been called, because Brett Keane didn't come up with any of those phrases. That was all country stuff and things that people say in the city. I'm around people all the time, and I pick up things. Somebody tells a joke, I like it. It becomes a part of my artillery. So yeah, good luck on your Keanisms book. I ain't gonna give you no problems for it. I don't see anything super hateful in the manuscript. It's a small book, basically making fun of the way Missouri people talk. Okay, sure. Call it Keanisms. Put my name on it. You know, when you guys put music out and you write songs about Brett Keane, or you write your own books with my name in it, as long as you're not completely derogatory and you don't bring any of my loved ones in it, I don't care if you make some money off of me. But if you go beyond that, then I will sue the hell out of you, like what happened to that other guy. I did a video about this where somebody was going way over the line with me, and I had to seek out a lawyer, and there were consequences handed out, and I made money off of this person for what they did. So don't push it. Have fun, enjoy yourself at my expense, but don't go over the line and get like psychotic and stupid and everything like that with it. Be funny, be silly, but don't go over the line.